Happy holy day. All right,
Happy
time
holy day.
seven, giving perfect praise to Allah, the author, the creator, the governor of the world, to Almighty, eternal, incomprehensible, the one who is supreme, most wise, and beneficent, and him alone belongs worship, adoration, thanksgiving, and praise. I give honor to all true and divine prophets, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, and Confucius. I give honor to my illustrious and industrious forefathers, the Harbinger, Marcus Messiah Garvey, and the Prophet, Noble Drew Ali. I stand honor to all Sheik, Sheikesses, guest members, and family within the sound of my voice. I greet you all with the humble words of peace. Islam, boys. Islam. Happy holy day to you all. What an honor it is to worship under my own vine and fig tree. High honor to everyone who spoke before me. It's beautiful to be here, Moors. I had a very trying week. So to see all of these fezzes and turbans and beautiful people, it really brings joy to my heart, of course. Tonight, we are building on chapter 27, the holy unity of the rich and the poor, and we're connecting it with the lower self and the need for character development, which is this month's topic, beautiful topic. And at first glance, we may think that this chapter is about economics, money, or even social class. But when we take a deeper look, we find that it is actually a lesson about the condition of the soul, Islam. And I just learned this more in our Sunday school. So high honor to our Sunday school teacher and Brother King Ali Bey.
Islam.
The real comparison is not between the rich and the poor. It is between people who have conquered their lower selves and those who have become slaves to their lower selves, Islam. Money does not determine righteousness. But as we teach here in the Moorish Temple of America, character does. The poor man can possess an ugly character and the wealthy man can possess a beautiful one. Likewise, the poor man can be humble while the rich man can be arrogant. The determining factor is not the amount of wealth in one's pockets, but the amount of discipline in one's heart. Allah is always concerned with what is within us rather than what is around us. The chapter begins by saying, the man to whom Allah had given riches is particularly favored and highly distinguished. Notice that Allah did not condemn wealth. In Islam, many of the Prophet's companions were wealthy. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, he himself married Khadijah, one of the most successful businesswomen in Arabia. Imam Ali, he taught justice while being in a governing position. Wealth has always had a place in Islam when it is guided by righteousness. So the question is not how much do you own? The question is, what kind of person has your wealth made you? Has it made you generous? Has it made you grateful? Has it made you compassionate? Or has it made you proud? The lower self whispers that this wealth is all mine, while the higher self says, Allah entrusted this wealth to me. The difference changes everything, Morris. The chapter warns us. I love that these are divine instructions, but these are also warnings. He suffered not the mighty to oppress the weak. One of the greatest characteristics of the lower self is domination. The lower self always wants to be above someone else. It seeks titles without service, respect without humility, and power without responsibility. Whether you are a parent, an employer, a teacher, a grand sheik, a governor, or a community leader, Allah is always watching how we treat those in our care. True leadership protects the weak. The lower self exploits the weak. The chapter goes on to say, he seek out objects of compassion and relieve them without ostentation. Notice that it says he seeks them out. He does not wait to be asked. He actively looks for opportunities to serve. We are taught to be a utility to the public. This is one of the greatest signs of character development. The lower self asks, what can the people do for me? Or in today's terms, you say things like, what can you bring to the table? The developed soul asks, what can I do for Allah by serving his creation? Islam. This is why Noble Drew Ali instructed us to uplift fallen humanity, not for applause, not for recognition, but because compassion is one of the greatest victories over the lower self. The chapter becomes stronger when it describes the selfish wealthy man. It says he grindeth the face of the poor, the tears of the orphan he drinketh as milk. These powerful words describe someone whose heart has been hardened and stoned. His bank account is full, but his character is bankrupt. Many people today admire wealth without asking how was it obtained. Islam teaches us to admire honesty before prosperity, justice before luxury, and integrity before influence. A poor man with honor is richer than a millionaire without mercy. The chapter then asks, what are the miseries of poverty in comparison with the gnawings of a man's heart? The world tells us that money can buy us happiness, but the holy instruction teaches us something a little different. Money may purchase comfort, but it cannot purchase contentment. Money may purchase a mansion, but it cannot purchase peace. Money may purchase influence, but it cannot purchase sincerity. If our lower self is never satisfied, no amount of wealth can satisfy it. As long as the lower self remains hungry, the soul remains restless. The chapter then turns to the poor man, and it says he eats in peace, he sleeps in peace. His labor preserves his health. His humility limits his desires. So what is this teaching us? That contentment is true wealth. The Arabic word, forgive me if I pronounce it incorrectly, but it says kunanaha. It means to be content with Allah, with what Allah has provided, while continuing to strive lawfully. I like the lawfully part. The lower self says, I need more. But the disciplined believer says, I am thankful while I continue to work. There is nothing wrong with pursuing success. That's very important. The danger is allowing success to become your identity. The final verse says, let not the rich presume on his riches, nor the poor in his poverty yield to despondence. This verse removes all excuses. The rich cannot boast, the poor cannot despair. Both are under examination. One is tested by abundance, the other is tested by hardship. Both will answer for their character. And that should be enough to humble us all. So as Moorish Americans, Noble Drew Ali taught us to become active citizens, business owners, educators, fathers, mothers, community builders, and servants of humanity. There is nothing wrong with becoming wealthy. In fact, our communities need successful businesses, successful schools, successful families, and successful institutions. But before Allah builds our bank account, He wants us to build our character. Before He increases our possessions, He wants us to increase in our discipline. Before He entrusts us with influence, He wants us to know whether we have conquered our lower selves. Because if character does not govern wealth, the wealth will govern the character. So may Allah make us rich in faith before riches, rich in wisdom before possessions, and rich in mercy before influence, and rich in character before status. Islam, more is peace and love. Happy holy day. And I trust all is well. I yield the floor. Islam.